Welcome to our presentation entitled Stroke Prevention. The sad reality is, this area of health is given very little attention until after a stroke has occurred. That's unfortunate, because stroke is the #1 cause of adult disability, and according to the National Stroke Association, up to 80% of strokes can be prevented. I want you to think about what I just said because it's too important to pass by. According to the National Stroke Association, up to 80% of strokes can be prevented. There are approximately 7 million victims with cerebral vascular disease or stroke. Most do not die from their stroke. Instead, they live the rest of their lives disabled, which impacts them and their loved ones. Just think of the human cost in lost occupations and the family pressure in caring for a loved one who has suffered a stroke. The medical, social, and economic costs are staggering. Yet 80% of this impact could be prevented if you just knew how to apply two simple but life-saving techniques. The information we're sharing with you today will absolutely change your odds. For example, your odds of winning the lottery are 1 in 14 million. Your odds of dying in a plane crash are 1 in 6 million. Your odds of dying in a car crash are 1 in 4 million, but your odds of dying from cardiovascular disease are 1 in 3. Not 1 in 3 million, 1 in 3. Now you wear a seatbelt to improve your chance of surviving a car crash, and you comply with the airlines and turn off your cell phone on takeoffs and landings. These are simple acts that can improve your chances for survival. We want to show you two simple acts that can improve your chances of avoiding a stroke. Let's start by looking at the controllable risk factors associated with a stroke. They are high blood pressure, atrial fib, high cholesterol, diabetes, atherosclerosis, circulation problems, tobacco use and smoking, alcohol use, physical inactivity, obesity. Each one of these controllable risk factors either directly or indirectly damages the most important organ of your entire cardiovascular system. When I say this, people think I'm going to talk about their heart, and while your heart is critical to your cardiovascular health and can be directly damaged by these controllable risk factors, it's not the organ I'm going to introduce you to. In fact, most people have never heard of this organ, yet vascular researchers today will tell you it's absolutely critical to cardiovascular health and wellness. So let me first introduce you to this organ, and then I'll come back and show you how each of these controllable risk factors negatively affect it. The organ is called the endothelium. It's the largest secreting organ in your entire body, yet it's only 1 cell thick. It lines the inside of your heart. The inside of all your arteries and arterioles, veins, and venules are lined by this organ. Your capillaries are just extensions of the endothelium. Scientists and researchers once thought this 1 cell thick lining was just an inert membrane that didn't have any purpose other than keeping your blood in the vascular system. But research over the last 10 years has clearly shown the endothelium to be a multifunctional organ involved in metabolic, immunologic, and cardiovascular health. One of those functions is to convert the amino acid L-arginine into nitric oxide, the master signaling molecule of your entire cardiovascular system. Before we talk about nitric oxide and how critical it is to the prevention of strokes, I'd like you to get a feel for how large an organ your endothelium is. It's estimated that there are approximately 60,000 miles of blood vessels in the adult body. Every blood vessel is lined by the endothelium. If you took out your endothelium and spread it on a flat surface, it would cover a surface volume of 4 to 8 tennis courts, depending upon the size of the individual. That's a huge amount of surface volume that can be directly damaged, increasing your risk for a stroke and cardiovascular disease. So let's go back and look at how these controllable risk factors affect your endothelium. High blood pressure directly damages the endothelium. Atrial fib can lead to blood clot formations, which are the leading cause of strokes. Nitric oxide can directly address this issue, and we'll talk more about this in a little bit. High cholesterol directly damages the endothelium. Diabetes, high blood sugar directly damages the endothelium. Atherosclerosis are plaque formations that narrow the interior of your vascular artery and are typically caused by damage done to the endothelium. Circulation problems are usually a result of damage done to the endothelium. Tobacco use and smoking, nicotine directly damages the endothelium, especially the endothelium of the heart and surrounding coronary arteries. Alcohol use can lead to damage done to the endothelium. Physical inactivity reduces nitric oxide production, which is necessary in stroke prevention. And obesity can contribute to the damage done to the endothelium. As you can see, each one of these controllable risk factors either directly or indirectly damages the endothelium to reduce its ability to properly produce nitric oxide. Nitric oxide is so important to your cardiovascular health that the 1998 Nobel Prize in Medicine was awarded to 3 American researchers who discovered how your endothelium converts the amino acid L-arginine into nitric oxide, the master signaling molecule of your entire cardiovascular system. One of these Nobel laureates is Dr. Louis J. Ignarro, who wrote a national bestseller called No More Heart Disease. I'd like to focus on the subtitle of his book. It says, quote, "How Nitric Oxide Can Prevent, Even Reverse, Heart Disease and Strokes," end of quote. To emphasize this point, I'd like to read 2 short quotes from Dr. Ignarro's book. Here's the first one. "2 of nitric oxide's critical functions, preventing the formation of blood clots and keeping the arteries free of plaque, work specifically against the occurrence of stroke," end of quote. We'll look at this in greater detail in just a little bit, especially after we read this second quote from Dr. Ignarro. Now, we know we can reverse cardiovascular impairment naturally with the body's internally manufactured wonder drug, nitric oxide, end of quote. Additionally, Dr. John Cook, the director of vascular medicine at Stanford University, published a book called The Cardiovascular Cure. Notice his subtitle, How to Strengthen Your Self-Defense Against Heart Attack and Stroke. Dr. Cook goes on to say the following, "This book will introduce you to the magic that is inside your blood vessels. It comes in the shape of a molecule, one of the simplest molecules found in nature. This molecule is nitric oxide, or NO, a substance so powerful that it can actually protect you from heart attack and stroke. Best of all, your body can make it on its own. NO is your body's own built-in natural protection against heart disease," end of quote. Unfortunately, few in the medical community focus on the health of your endothelium and the need to properly produce therapeutic levels of nitric oxide. Yet both are critical to cardiovascular health and can substantially reduce your risk for a stroke. In fact, let's narrow this whole issue of stroke even further. The number 1 risk factor for a stroke is high blood pressure. It's estimated that if you have high blood pressure, you increase your stroke risk by a factor of 4 to 6 times. Additionally, the number 1 cause of a stroke is a blood clot formation that lodges in a vascular artery. According to the American Heart Association, 87% of all strokes are ischemic strokes. An ischemic stroke occurs when a blood clot forms in the bloodstream. This blood clot then lodges within an artery of the brain, causing a blockage. This blockage reduces the necessary blood flow to that section of the brain, leading to damage or death of those brain cells. The amount of damage determines the severity of the stroke. Both of these issues, high blood pressure and blood clot formations, result predominantly from endothelial cell dysfunction and its inability to properly produce nitric oxide. This information helps us to clearly identify 3 keys to substantially reducing the risk for a stroke. They are controlling blood pressure, preventing blood clots, and reversing endothelial cell dysfunction. So here's how nitric oxide directly addresses each of these keys. First, nitric oxide is your body's most powerful vasodilator. What this means is that nitric oxide causes the smooth muscle of your vascular wall to relax, which helps to keep your blood pressure in a normal range. That would directly benefit our first key of controlling blood pressure and directly address the most important controllable risk factor for a stroke. Second, nitric oxide keeps blood platelet cells from sticking together to naturally prevent blood clots. This would reduce the number 1 cause of strokes and directly address our second key, which is preventing blood clots. Third, nitric oxide helps to repair damage done to the endothelium and keep it free from plaque formations and calcification. Plaque formation results in the disease called atherosclerosis, and calcification results in the disease called arteriosclerosis. According to the American Heart Association, 74% of all cardiovascular disease is related to atherosclerosis, plaque formations within the arteries, and arteriosclerosis, calcification or hardening of the arteries. Proper levels of nitric oxide help to prevent both of these issues, and it directly addresses the last key of helping to reverse endothelial cell dysfunction. Now, you might be thinking, why hasn't my physician told me this information? The answer is, most of Western medicine has focused on reactive care rather than preventative care. Both have a place in your goal to improve your overall health and wellness. In the area of stroke prevention, there are two primary techniques that can help. First is the assessment of your risk through a non-invasive technique. And second is learning how to properly nourish your endothelium for improved nitric oxide production. While there are many types of non-invasive techniques, the most effective is an ultrasound screening of the carotid arteries to identify the presence of vascular disease such as plaque formations, which can increase your risk for a stroke. This is an inexpensive method that, when combined with a complete medical history, along with your associated risk factors, can help you and your physician manage healthcare decisions that could range from lifestyle changes to medications to surgical procedures. Foundational to all of this is learning how to properly nourish your endothelium for improved nitric oxide production. So how does your endothelium create this nitric oxide? Well, there are two important amino acids needed. They are L-arginine and L-citrulline. Your endothelium directly converts L-arginine into nitric oxide, but it needs a certain level. As you can see by the PowerPoint slide, I've listed some common food sources in which to obtain this amino acid. Let me make a few general comments. Most research indicates that for you to receive a therapeutic benefit from L-arginine, you need to consume at least 5 grams of this amino acid at one time. So I selected 6 food items that I thought would be common food choices. I did the math conversions to look at how much food you would need to eat to take in 5 grams of L-arginine. I also looked at the number of calories and grams of fat it would bring into your body. As you can see by the slide, peanuts provide the smallest quantity of food, but they pack on 70 grams of fat and 918 calories. When you examine the slide, you can see that the 3 best choices are beans, tuna, or chicken breast. 1 can of beans or 2 cans of tuna or almost 1 pound of chicken are needed on a daily basis. This quantity of food is necessary to have a significant therapeutic effect on your endothelial cells and their ability to properly produce nitric oxide. For L-citrulline, you only have one good choice, which is watermelon. Unfortunately, 60% of the L-citrulline is contained in the rind portion, which most people typically throw away. So unless you juice the entire watermelon, most people do not get adequate amounts of L-citrulline to help turbocharge their endothelium's ability to properly produce nitric oxide. Which brings us to the question, is it better to get these critical amino acids through supplementation? Well, before we talk about supplementation, I need to make one more important point about these 2 amino acids. When you bring in a therapeutic level of L-arginine, it typically results in a 30-minute to 2-hour window of improved nitric oxide production. When you combine your L-arginine with a therapeutic level of L-citrulline, you increase this production of nitric oxide to an 18 to 36-hour window. This has huge health benefits in helping you repair the damage done to the endothelium. Which brings us back to supplementation. If you choose to supplement, then purity, potency, and the clinical application of the ingredients used are highly important. We believe that Proarginine Plus from Synergy Worldwide meets these 3 factors. In fact, many believe it's the best nitric oxide supplement in the marketplace. It has been intentionally designed to help nourish your endothelium to properly produce nitric oxide for improved cardiovascular health and function. Proarginine Plus contains both L-arginine and L-citrulline at the needed levels to help turbocharge the endothelium's ability to produce nitric oxide over an extended period of time. Additionally, Proarginine Plus also includes the following ingredients: vitamins B9, B6, and B12, vitamin D3, vitamin K2, vitamin C, D-ribose, grape skin extract, red wine extract, and pomegranate extract. I'm not going to go into detail about each ingredient, but I would like to highlight two which will help you better understand the science that went into the design of this product. I want to highlight vitamins D3 and K2. You need vitamin D3 to help your body properly absorb calcium. You need vitamin K2 to help your body properly direct where calcium goes. Calcium is extremely important for your body, not just for bone health, but also for a wide variety of cellular reactions, one of which is the creation of nitric oxide. Let me use the following illustration to help you understand the importance of calcium in nitric oxide production. If you walk into a dark room and you want the lights on, you flip the switch on the wall. If you look at nitric oxide as the light, the wiring in the wall as the enzymatic process the endothelium uses to create nitric oxide, and L-arginine as the electricity, then the switch is calcium. Calcium starts the reaction. Vitamin D3 and vitamin K2 help to regulate your calcium levels in your bloodstream so that this reaction can properly take place. The reason why ProArginine Plus is so effective is because of the science and manufacturing expertise that has gone into the development of this product. It's manufactured by Nature's Sunshine Products and distributed by Synergy worldwide. Nature's Sunshine is 40 years old. They're one of the most respected nutritional manufacturers in the world. Both Synergy and Nature's Sunshine have received the NSF Good Manufacturing certification, which means that they meet the highest standards in the nutrition industry for quality assurance and control. The manufacturing process to create the proprietary formulation of ProArginine Plus is second to none. A total of 262 tests are conducted along the various stages of manufacturing to ensure the highest quality and potency of the ingredients used. This level of quality is also reflected in the people who are associated with this product. On the screen is Dr. J. Joseph Prendergast, considered by many to be one of the leading authorities in the world on the use of L-arginine for the treatment of cardiovascular concerns. Dr. Joe has been using L-arginine, L-citrulline therapy since 1991 to help his diabetic patients experience phenomenal results. Dr. Joe contributed his 20 years of practical experience and research with the nutritional scientists at Nature's Sunshine to develop the ProArginine Plus formulation. What also makes ProArginine Plus unique in the nutrition industry is that it has clinical application and studies to back up its effectiveness. The High Desert Heart Institute is located in Victorville, California. They're considered one of the premier heart institutes in the world. In 2009, they did a human clinical study using ProArginine Plus. In fact, it's the most complete and comprehensive human clinical study ever done on a nutritional supplement. This study involved 33 congestive heart failure patients who were all medically and pharmaceutically managed to the maximum. Over a 90-day period, these patients were given an aggressive amount of ProArginine Plus, and by the end of 90 days, all patients had their medications substantially reduced. Because of these remarkable changes, the High Desert Heart Institute uses ProArginine Plus as part of their standard treatment program for their patients, and they continue to do ongoing cardiovascular studies using this highly effective product. So what does this information mean to you? Well, a healthy endothelium equals a healthy cardiovascular system. And when you look at the number one risk factor for a stroke, which is high blood pressure, and the number one cause of a stroke, which is a blood clot that has lodged itself in an arterial vessel that most likely has some level of plaque formation, nitric oxide can directly address each of these issues. Nitric oxide relaxes the vascular wall to help keep your blood pressure in a normal range. Nitric oxide keeps blood platelet cells from sticking together to naturally prevent blood clots. And nitric oxide can repair damage done to the endothelium to help reverse endothelial cell dysfunction. We believe ProArginine Plus can help you combat the negative effects of premature cardiovascular aging for you and your loved ones. And since most of your life revolves around your cardiovascular system, any improvements typically result in improved cell, tissue, and organ function. Additionally, ProArginine Plus comes with a 90-day unconditional money-back guarantee. When you factor in ingredients, price, quality assurance, clinical studies, and the money-back guarantee, ProAgent Plus has the best value and an extremely competitive price. This leaves us with a final question. Are you ready to experience the health benefits of ProAgent Plus by taking our 90-day health challenge with an unconditional money-back guarantee? If your answer is yes, then please contact the person who invited you to this presentation. They can assist you in your purchase of ProAgent Plus and help you to properly start on this excellent product. Or you can contact us at the Synergy Co-op. I've placed our contact information on the screen. We're part of a team whose mission is to help save 1 million lives. We'll work with you and your health care provider to help you properly nourish your endothelium for improved nitric oxide production. And if for any reason you're not satisfied with your results during the 90-day health challenge, then you can return all the product, used and unused, for a full refund. Please call us if you have any questions about this remarkable product.